Grand Rising Elizabeth and Elizabeth this morning or this AM or whatever,
Right.
MORN, not the other one. I just want to welcome you to our Friday Purpose and Passion, or Passion and Purpose is all is one. Our show on the Grand Rising Elizabeth show. And I am one of your hosts. I'm Queen Aduni. And my co-host is Lolly Mariah, who will be here in just a moment. We want to welcome Squeeze, our guest today. And Squeeze, did you just go to a party or something last night? I see you got your armband on.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
So we're looking forward to talking with you and thank you for coming in honor of Father's Day and Father's Month and Father's Year and Father's Forever
Right,
Right.
right.
time. And whether a person is a father or not, they carry them in their loins. They carry the babies whether they ever get out and match to anybody. It's
Right.
it's life to be seen. I want to just share from the manifestation cards, which are by Rhonda Boyd, who did The Secret.
Oh shit.
Yep. And we're going to have to do the secrets, play the secret or something, maybe at my shop
Oh yeah,
and
that would
kind of
be
talk
nice.
about it, not only the secret, but uh, what is that other one?
Oh, what the bleep or
What the
something.
bleep? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Now that I understand more about the spiritual life,
Yes.
I can see it in a whole different way.
Yes.
So I was just stepping out of religion around that time that it came out.
Okay. Okay.
So let me see. Well, I'll just do this one right here. Appreciation strengthens relationships.
Yes.
For a difficult relationship to become great, we have to put our focus on what we appreciate about the other person. When we complain about a relationship, we only attract more things to complain about.
Mm.
For the next 28 days, write down all the things that you appreciate about that person, adding more things to the list each day. And you will see how appreciation can turn any relationship around.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep, 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 yep.
and I've read The Secret before. I don't think I ever heard of What the Bleep. I don't think I heard of that one though. But that's
That
very
that
cool.
one came out right behind it,
Okay.
and it really goes into the um oh, let me see, how do I want to say that? Things that happen automatically in us that
Hmm.
we have to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like when we're attracting people or when things bother us, that's things that have been there all along. And when that thing shows up, you know how you say, she knows how to hit that button.
Right. Yeah.
And
Triggers.
why is that button even there?
Mhm.
To be hit. And so it talks about that, but it's really, really a good one right after the Secret. Did everybody watch The Secret?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I when it came out, I'm telling you, we had the school over on 8 Mile, and I had all my natural hair students, and we just every day we shared that with our clients when they came in and all.
Okay.
And I had one sister, she was in her Muslim out attire,
Hijab.
cover
Hijab.
up.
Hmm.
And when she watched that, I think it was the next day,
Uh-huh.
she didn't have none of that on.
Wow.
And her her revelation was that she was not doing it for herself. She was
Ah,
doing it for her brother and to please them.
okay.
And when, the secret was just talking about being free and being yourself and stuff. And when she walked there, everybody's like, and she just
Right.
kind of explained that it freed her from trying to please everybody else and just to
Um,
really get into her own life and what she wants.
oh wow.
So, Grand Rising, my partner,
Rising.
my partner in good crime.
Okay.
So again, we want to welcome everyone, Stacy, Grand Rising, and um, we've already squeezed and already started talking. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. If you could allow me to also be co-host, that would be amazing.
Amazing.
That pumpkin.
Oh, Squeeze, I guess you're going to find out why you're called Squeeze at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be good to know.
All
It's
right.
not as interesting as of a story as it would seem.
Okay, okay.
Well, let's find out soon. All right, y'all. We ready?
We
Yeah.
ready.
Awesome. So it is Friday, June 20th, 2025. Also Juneteenth weekend. There's still festivities going on. And today is Passion and Purpose Friday, y'all.
Yay!
Yay! So, I am super excited, super excited. Yes, baby. I don't know if you heard her. She was excited too. So, I'm super excited because every time we could celebrate passion and purpose is so beautiful to see all the people who are walking within their purpose and who
Yes.
are exploring their passions in order to do that. And I love hearing about it. So, I'm Lolly. I am one of your co-hosts today, and I'm also here with the amazing Queen Aduni.
Yay!
Yes, amazing. So, before we get started, I kind of want to give a little bit of a background on this particular guest that we have. But first, Queen, do you have anything you want to share before we dive into that?
Well, we've already done two of the manifestations.
Okay.
So we ready to go. We waiting on you, girl.
Thank you so much. All right, cool. So I I don't know if I remember the exact time when I met this gentleman, but there were several different occasions where I've run into Squeeze in several different events. I was able to perform at many of those or observe other people performing at many of those. But needless to say, he is a positive and artistic influence in the community. And if you don't know, I don't know if you've noticed, but I tend to bring a lot of artistic people on the platform.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
so
Okay.
so yes, I'm super excited. I actually he's amazing in his own right. And I also was excited about there's a book I think it's called For the Sisters what is it? Yeah, For the Sisters. And this is a book that was co-written by a few different amazing poets and writers in the city. One of them being Sean Morby. Yes. And we're gonna get into that book a little bit later too. But I reached out to him and he's like, I'm on the road, I'm a truck driver, I'm on the road, but you know who'll be great? Squeeze would be great. And I said, you know what? You're right. So, so here we are, and we have our guest. And let me give you a background, his bio, that he sent me, which honestly is beautiful, it's wonderful, and it doesn't even express all of what he does. But here's his bio. Jason L. Ford, also known as Squeeze, is a talented writer and performer with a deep passion for building communities. His performance is distinct by its engaging and thought-provoking approach, often leaving the audience with questions, answers, or just a good time.
Okay.
As a slam poet, now that's hard. Slam poetry is hard. Anyway, as a slam poet, he has coached and competed internationally, earning his team third in the nation at competitions such as the Collegiate Union Poetry Slam Invitational. Currently, Squeeze is known for building sustainable platforms for various artists, including painters, writers, entrepreneurs, and public speakers. As a
Mm.
writer, he is the author of the published series, including the critically acclaimed The Sub-American Dream
Mm.
and the upcoming Sub-America, The Dream, 2025. So, we're looking forward to something. We got to hear a little more about that soon. Anyway, he
Okay.
also has poems published academically by the Teachers College Press, an anthology about centering possibilities in Black education. Currently, he's proud to be featured in the new anthology For the Sisters, where his work has the opportunity to uplift and show love to Black women within our society. Everybody, let's give it up. Let's give it up
Woo!
for Squeeze.
Yay! Wonderful.
That's nice. That sounds nice. You had me clapping for myself.
Right.
All right, awesome. So let's kind of get this started. I know you gave us this amazing background about your work and everything that you're doing in the community and the things you have coming up. So I'll ask some questions about that in a minute. But let me know, like, what is who are you personally? Like, what do you want people to know about your character, your personality? What is it about you that makes you unique?
Personally, I'm just always trying to keep it like people say, keep it 100. You know, I'm always making sure that I'm trying to stay consistent and genuine in my expressions, and then also making sure that I'm, showing love and appreciation, always staying grateful, personally, helping people to realize a little more of the greatness in them or be more confident in themselves, understand the love for themselves helps them to love and project love on the world and stuff. So I'm just trying to always make sure my people are good, I guess, if that makes sense, and then also just being consistent, being authentic, because it's good for me and it's good for
Everyone.
Awesome. So, clearly you are a writer, and performer and so much more. What was, what started you off writing, your poetry or your writing in general? What started that for you?
Writing, I've been doing like writing and public speaking for a long time. Like even when I was a kid, I would go to church. You know, how you get your speech for Easter Sunday and stuff,
Uh-huh.
like Happy Easter and stuff. So it got to the point where the Sunday school teachers and all them people, they wouldn't even give me a speech after a while. They would just like tell me like, all right, write your speech and we'll handle everybody else. So everybody else would be like Happy Easter, and then I had like this long like speech in my suit and stuff. To after a while, I started doing public speaking and like
Hmm.
uh, ministering. I was a preacher, actually a reverend or whatever. And I was only probably about like 16, 15, 16 years old, just to help, you know, I guess have conversations with the youth or with people that were my age or even older
Yeah.
about, life and just being reflective. But then after a while, I had some contemplation with like my view on certain religions or religion in
Right.
general. And I became like more of a spiritual, grounded person. With still a lot of respect for religions or different religions, and everybody, on what they believe in. I believe it's really important.
Yes.
So when I got to college, it was like a club around there that was doing spoken word poetry specifically, and one of my friends was a part of it, and he was really, really talented. And I was what, like 18 or so, And I was just like writing, and I was like, man, I think this would be nice. I think people appreciate this. So he was like, what? So I'm in the elevator, like reading off. I had like the Sidekick phone.
Okay.
For people that remember Sidekicks in the 2000s or whatever. And I said it, and he was like, "Oh, that's nice. You should come out to the open mic and say it. Like, come do it." I'm like, "For real? Like, you think so?" I'm like, yeah. And I did it, and after that, I got a very good response from it. People encouraged me to come out more, come out and be a part of the
Nice.
organization and stuff like that. And I guess the rest is history.
That's nice.
Awesome. So, you mentioned that you are or have been a slam poet.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what slam poetry is, can you kind of explain what slam poetry is?
Slam poetry is this competitive poetry with like a very specific set of rules. I'm not the biggest slam poet now, like I'm just not. I feel like it's a lane for it, and I'm glad people are doing it and appreciate it. But not like I'm more of a expression. Like it's very a reflective process. So I do a lot of writing for so many different reasons that it just hurts me to kind of get in the lane and compete sometimes. Even though I do got a lot of respect for it and what people do. When I was in college, we had the CUPSI, or the Collegiate Union Poetry Slam Invitational, which is like a very big collegiate poetry slam. And PS Poetry Society, we did uh uh competing to see who was going to go to CUPSI. And we had a good team. We went out and did really well. The first year we did all right. And then the next year is the year I was coaching. We went out, and I think when we came back, we were third in the entire nation. So we were like a very well regarded poetry slam team and stuff. And then
Wow.
that next year, the Cubsy came to Michigan. It was actually at U of M, the University of Michigan. So that year we got a chance to support host because we were right down the street at Eastern Michigan University.
Right.
And yeah, it was good. We got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of friends, a lot of people that I still have some sort of relationship to this day, so a lot
Great.
of people that
Great.
I've met there from all over, Chicago to Wisconsin to New York to, you know, Howard, like DC, like the colleges everywhere,
Mhm.
that we got a chance to meet and build relationships with, and yeah,
Wow.
but
Where I see it.
it's very specific rules. Like you got to have poems, a certain time limit, a certain style or rhetoric, and presentation, so it's just a really good time, especially to get in the competition of it, especially if you want to be competitive. So yeah, it's good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I have more questions for you, but before I ask you another question, I want to kind of like give you the space. Um, at some point, it would be nice to hear a piece of yours. However, I won't make you do it right now. You could think about it after the next question. Um, so let's see. So you also mentioned your published series. So you have the Sub American Dream, and then you're working on Sub America, the Dream. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So the idea of Sub America is like in our as specifically as African Americans, but even beyond that, there's a full like diaspora people who've been conditioned, by our history, been taught or been informed things about themselves and just made to believe that you're less than or that you have to fit in some sort of box or hole, to be functional within a certain society. for Black people that's been told that you're not, fully a person or a man, or that you can't accomplish something to a certain extent, or certain, like, you can't have certain dreams or aspirations without offending somebody else, and that idea is like this sub section, or this, like, this place that you've been put in. And then, like, in America, it's like you've been told your whole life, you've been sold this dream of, like, you can have and do and accomplish everything, which is very possible. But along with that, with that dream, you've also been kind of ostracized and put down and put in a place, and people tried to scare you or put fear in your soul or heart, just by saying, like, well, if you attempt to do this, or if you say this, or if you go here and, do that, then something can happen to you, or, people are going to take advantage of you, or you're not going to be able to. So it's always been like, yeah, you can have everything, but at the same time, you're not really worth anything,
Yeah.
So that sub American dream, which was a collection of poems, and then also a monologue that goes in between the poems, just talking more about the history, of our country as a whole, more about us understanding, that we do have the power to accomplish other things. And we have to be able to understand that whatever we've been conditioned into isn't who we are. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
just,
Right.
who we needed to be for somebody else's dream, or who we need to be to accomplish somebody else's goal. But we have our own dreams, our own goals, so we have to be able to love and then understand ourselves as
Yeah.
humans. And it's sub-American because it's not, even though it's because my experience has been as an African American person. So a lot of times my perspective and projection, is going to come from that experience. But the truth is, we see it with ICE and everything that's going on with our Latino people, brothers and sisters, and people that's here from there and from other places, and people dealing from East Africa or from all different types of places, who have to deal with that type of uh, conditioning,
Yeah.
or purposing, by white America. You know,
Yes.
Sub America, the Dream is the second book, so it's turning into a series, and I don't want it to be more than three. But Sub America, the Dream is like the second follow up, letting us know, like, all right, now we have to be accountable to ourselves,
Yeah.
the things that we are doing, to our condition, and things that we are building, and the structures and the things that we're passing down to the next generations after us, just so we can, kind of be more self-conscious about the work that we're doing, and the things that we're trying to, the structures that we're building, because it's important. We realize that we have the power. So, with great power, what this Spider-Man thing, with great power is like great responsibility, and that's just the truth. You have to be responsible, and accountable, you know.
That makes sense. That's really deep. Where can we find those writings?
The Sub American Dream is on Amazon. I think it's in Barnes and Nobles. It's at uh 13th Letter bookstore here in Detroit. It's at another bookstore that's downtown. You might be able to find it at the Book Source Sellers store in Detroit too as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Spectacles Detroit, which is a clothing boutique that's been around forever. So shout out to Spectacles, but it's in there as well.
Okay.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
You know?
All right. We'd love to hear something.
Let me see. I can do that, but I'll do it out of For the Sisters, since
Sure.
this book right here, I just want to say, was a huge project, bringing 10 poets together, for from the city or in the city, working in the city of Detroit to uplift women, to show love and respect to women of all ages. So that's my daughter right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
And, but these are all women that I've been a part of or poured into or was, just needed to be shown love and respect, to be uplifted by the poets who wrote this book. We're all some of that.
Wonderful.
Yep. Let me see what we can do. So I'm gonna actually read something from here because I think it'd be good.
Squeeze, have you put your book or post the Shrine, the bookstore? They still
No,
have that?
I'm not sure. That's a good question, but I would love to be honest. But lately I've just been so busy, and then with the publishing of the next book, which is Sub America, it's been a lot of writing and editing and stuff. So I haven't been in connection with it as I would want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I wrote a poem about my daughter called "Born a Blessing," and for the sisters. So I'm gonna read that. I remember the day the eye of my mind saw something divine. I remember the ways the eyes most wouldn't deny met your pain with my cries, met the world without ties, muscle to mine except yours to mine's. I swear I must have relied on you to give me nutrition, the fruits of my labor, the garden that gave your moon a new reason to shine, rhythmic movements to maneuver your tide, give you the assurance to express the presence inside. And these days, my present is where your presence resides. See, you came like a holiday in my wish list. I mean, now I just wish for you to know that you're loved, to feel you are loved. See, I love you to pieces. I fall apart when I'm away from you. Off the wall, my mind relays to you, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't even attempt to do the things that you do. They must have needed you. They must have needed your guidance. As I guide the true highness, my arms reaching out to hold all that what God has given. And at arm's length, I mean, I can reach heaven and sneak a peek at God's list, the one that's written in oddness, inscripted with the name of God's gifts and the honest, made to rain light on the world in auspice. And I'm happy, betrothed to all who witness it, the throne that restores and replenishes and provided strength, love, and deliberateness. But you were born a blessing that I was destined to hold, a love so dense that it contends with the depths of the globe, and I'm blessed. But I'm only blessed because you were born a blessing. And on that day, I saw myself in a way that I hadn't saw in my reflections. And I knew at that moment you had a power to do anything. I mean, you can move mountains and you can change the world, but I mean, hey, you moved me. You changed me. Born a blessing. That's it.
Oh, awesome.
So I guess I wanted to do that one,
Beautiful.
and after that I could say first, just because that was a very. It's the first one I submitted for the book for the sisters, and it was very huge because she was my daughter. She was our moderator. She does debate now, so she does a lot of public speaking herself. And then she's 12 or just turned 12 in March, so she was our moderator in our panel. She asked all the questions and stuff for the panel
Oh,
for the sisters for the book release when we had the book release.
oh, nice.
And it was just a beautiful moment just to have my baby there, and then to realize that me as a child feeling like I needed to always project my voice or try to be out in front of people, putting on a show or trying to give a revelation. And then now to see my daughter, who is 12, at the age where she's doing the same things,
Right.
so she can understand that that she is a blessing, So
Yes.
she, yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
that's no problem.
Hmm.
Yes, that was very beautiful. So one of the reasons why um I reached out to you was because it's still June. Um and we're still celebrating Father's Month. And so so it's always great to hear fathers um especially Black fathers, express their appreciation for their children and for their fatherhood journey, which is
Mhm.
always amazing. I was sharing the other day that, well, number one, I love hearing a male's perspective on parenthood because quite often we hear from the women and the women do a lot of work. But, it's really nice to hear men speak out about that. And so, yeah, I'm happy to celebrate other fathers, just doing the work. So that's beautiful. All
Thank
right, cool. Awesome. That was a really beautiful poem as well. It just makes me think, when people want to be fathers, they have a connection that they want to share with others, and I think that's
you.
beautiful. Um, so speaking of that book of poetry and the other authors that are in that book as well, what was the process like when it was being put together? Where did you submit? Did you collaborate with other writers to create
Yep.
in the book? What was that like?
So it was actually a pretty a smoother process for me than the editors having to deal with so many different poets and edits and calls and stuff. But it was an idea that came out by Sean Morbe, and he reached out to all of us individually and was just like, I want to do a collection with all these poets that I respect, have love for, who are Black men, who have love and respect for Black women specifically. I want to bring everybody together to do a book, and I was like, legit, I'm down. And we sat down, we had meetings about it, just talking about like the energy and really just so we can all get a sense of each other's energy, all just being really authentic and loving and appreciating people. And we had an editor who was a Black woman, Diamond Neek, who is a poet here in Detroit. And she, after collecting all the poems, submitting them, everybody submitting their work, we went through and did edits and did all the different requests and change typos, whatever it is that you need to change and stuff. So just going through the process as writers of making sure that what's going out to the world, especially with a book like this where it's like uplifting the sisters, making sure that we're being very conscious about um, the work that's going out, and just making sure that everything is in a good place or in the best place to do, what we set out to do, which is love, respect, uplift, not specifically, but in the focal point, Black sisters. But the truth is, everybody as sisters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a hand raised. Sister Deetra.
Oh, greetings all.
Yeah.
I still want to go back to my initial question about your name.
Okay.
Yeah, how did you get that name? Squeeze.
That's a good question. Um, it came all the way from being like a kid, a high school student. I grew up in a small town. Well, I mean, it wasn't small to us, but in comparison to Detroit, it's a pretty small town. In Saginaw, Michigan,
Oh,
which
Saginaw. I used to live there.
legit.
Yeah.
So it's a very tight niche, community. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the people that's there or been there, it's kind of like here in Detroit, has been there for generations, and
True.
their parents
That's
been
right.
there. And uh, for certain periods of time, we had a lot of like uh I got you. A certain period of time we had a huge after the General Motors came and left. There was
Yeah.
a lot of poverty. Like we had the like what people consider the
Yes.
hood or whatever out
Right.
there, you know.
That's
So my name is Jason Ford, um, and it's not a lot of people in my community where I was raised that was named Jason. It just wasn't like a name that was normal.
yeah.
So uh, when I was in high school, I was like shorter than most people, so it was like sometimes when people would like to big brother like want you to be the little brother, you know, all the
Uh,
time.
yeah.
So but I did grow like I was like 15. I grew like 8 inches in like 2 months.
Wow.
So yeah. But the older kids, like the seniors and the older kids that was in the school, they was like, "Man, we've been calling you Jason your whole life. You know, your name is Jason, but you don't look like your name's supposed to be Jason. You know, and we ain't like a class. You know, so I'm just like, whatever. You know, whatever. You know, and they like, oh, I know what we call you. We'll call you J Squeeze.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Like, no, you're right. Right. And I was like, what, you don't like it? You don't like it? And I was like, no, it's not my name, you know, being a kid. And then when I got into the hallway, people would come up to me and be like, hey, Jason, 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 you know, but when people come and say my name, then the
Uh-huh.
older kids would come in and be like, no, no, don't call him that. That ain't his name. His name, Squeeze, Jay Squeeze, call him Squeeze, you know.
Oh,
So after a
wow.
while, it just became like what people called me, you know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then yeah, and then when I got to Eastern or when I got to college, my roommate was a person that I grew up with. That went to middle school, went to elementary school, went to high school.
Okay.
So a lot of people would hear my name second hand, you know, because a lot of people ask me my name, I would say Jason a lot of times.
Okay.
But if you hear my name from somebody else, which a lot of people get it, their first introduction to me, I guess through somebody else,
Uh-huh.
um, usually they'll be like, "Oh, that's Squeeze," and then it just that's how I kind of spread it after that.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's interesting. Thank you.
Awesome. That's it's always nice to have a cute story behind like a nickname.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's meaningful. And speaking of it being meaningful, that makes me, kind of question when people gave you that nickname, did it
Mhm.
change anything in how you express your personality through your writing or just in general? Like, did that have an effect on you?
Not really. It just became something at first it was something I couldn't escape. Like everywhere I would go, people like squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And I'd be like, man, you know, at first you have like that fake embarrassment, you know, where you want to people when you correct people, but deep down inside you're like, oh well, it's not that bad. Like I kind of like it. So it's like that
Okay.
situation. And then I kind of grew into accepting it, you know, and just allow allowing people to like spread it around and stuff. Because at first I just wanted people to know I wasn't ashamed of my name. You know, like I love my name as Jason. You know, I really appreciate it. So it's like my name is Jason. My father name is Jesse Aris Jr. I have an older brother. His name is Jesse Aris the third. And then my brother's Justin. And then I have my granddad is Jesse Aris. So it's all like J J J J
I
J.
see.
So I've always been very proud of my name, you know. So I just at first I just didn't want people to think I was shamed or wanted to have a different like, no, Jason is fine, you know. But
Yes.
after a while I kind of was like, oh no, I appreciate this name. So it just kind of grew up with me, you know, to be honest. But no, I don't think it changed anything about my personality as a person at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious because names have power, and sometimes
Yeah.
you see that change. I know for me, fun fact, my government name is not Lolly, but Lolly
Right.
allows me to be my most creative and expressive self. And I think I mean, when you hear Lolly, it makes you think like, oh, like colored, sweet, and you're whatever.
Right.
But it helps me to do that. And I similarly, like in the beginning, I hated it. I absolutely hated when anyone called me Lolly because it came from my siblings, my younger siblings who couldn't say my name. And um and so then my older sister started calling me that, and I was like, I got her in trouble for calling me Lolly. Got her in trouble for that. But then, time passed and I was like, I actually really like, I rock with this because it means a lot to me. It means love. It means connection. It means that someone sees me and appreciates me. And so like it changed for me and I changed with it. So, that's what I was wondering. We do have, oh, and I forgot, I have my full name on here because I was in a work meeting.
Yeah.
So you get to know, yay. Anyway, we have another hand raised, Mama Evelyn. I'm bringing
Yes.
you up.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Um, I just wanted to know, what's your daughter's name?
My name's Taylor Dion Ford.
Okay. And is that your only child?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you move to Detroit?
I've been in Detroit for, wow, a long time, it seems like now. My first time moving out here was, I believe, like 2017 for a little while. Before that, I was out here a lot because I was just way back in like, well, it sounds crazy to say way back in like, but way back in like 2010 or so, 2011, like I would be out here all the time just because I was doing a lot of performing, open mics. I was doing programming and act stuff out here back then, even though I was living at the time where I was going to school, college in Ypsilanti.
Okay.
And then after a while, I started working out here. So at first, I would just drive all the way from wherever I was living at the time, which I
Okay.
moved around to like Taylor, Inkster, different places. But I
Right.
would work in downtown in the city, Detroit, or I'd be working, for a community organization or something like that. And then after a while, I just moved here with my friend, good, and my frat brother, James or Jimmy. And he's a creative, talented brother and all. Me and him moved together. And that was probably when I came to the west side, which was like 2019, 2020 or so.
Uh-huh.
So I would say it's been almost 10 years, like 8 years now, 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I moved here right after the riots in
Okay.
67. I'm from Pontiac, but yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you very
And
much.
Taylor, she was born here, and her mother is from here, is from sure.
Okay. All right. That's good. And you co-parent very well together, it seems.
Yeah, just we take time and grow up and mature. Taylor was born, I think 23 years old. She was like 22 years old, and I just graduated from college at that time.
Okay.
So we all kind of grew up together in that sense of learning how to communicate, learning how to understand, what's the focus, what's the best, like our baby girl is the most important thing. We got to make sure that
Yeah.
we're giving her the things that she needs to do her just do.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
That's good. Good to know. Good to hear. Thank you very much.
Amazing. I got another hand raised star.
Grand, oh, Grand Rising. Um, Apologies if you've already answered this question. Let's see, how can I say it? When you get ready to write, what is it? I don't want to use the word procedure. That's what I'm
Mhm.
trying to explain. Like, what comes to you? How does it come to you? The idea of what you're going to create. What happens when you're getting ready to write?
Good
A lot of
question.
times, thank you. For that. A lot of times it's like it jumps on you. It's like I'm out just walking down the street or working or doing something or just having a conversation with somebody, and like this thought will just like pop in my head, and it's like kind of relentless. Like it's like, just like it's like this extreme, like I'm so interested, so intrigued in something where it's like kind of like following me around. And then I just have to go and like kind of write it down, just like write it out and get it out. Like that. To be honest, that's how it goes most of the time. In some situations now, because I'm doing a lot of like I'm developing more and more as a writer. So I want to create things, even though I love free form and I love to like just write and make sure I get things out or tell the story, or I love to like also uh do certain genres of writing and poetry. I like to play by the rules sometimes, just so I can know that I can give or pass something down to somebody where they have to pick it up and kind of address it on a certain scale or level as literary works. So sometimes I do a lot of like meditating or sitting down and just thinking about how I want this to fit inside these parameters. But most of the time, it's just walking or just talking, and it just jump on you, or you be inspired by a lot of other artists or a lot of other conversations, um emotions and energy, like the things that people go through or the things that you feel off of other people or just being in certain situations. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you all do, but the thing is, like, you walk in different places or you have conversations with people and you have this energy that you feel, or this emotion that moves and push you, something that you can relate to, something that you reflect on, something that you just see and have some sort of level of pain or joy or satisfaction or whatever. And I just, after a while, have no choice but to write it down, like kind of have to get it out, you know? Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that feeling of having to get it out. This is kind of like a download. It's like I gotta release this. I definitely have those too. And I use my little notes in my phone when I can, or a voice recording. I'm like, I gotta get this out now. Sometimes it's in the middle of the night, and I'm just humming in the phone.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I need to go back and listen to some. We got another hand raised, Queen Aduni.
Again, thank you for coming on. I have just a few questions for you.
Okay.
Uh, I'm doing this. Hold on. Okay, so do you do your poetry to music, and have you recorded? Do you have any recordings of it, whether it's with music or not? And yeah, those questions.
Yes, absolutely. It's recordings of it with and without music. That's out. Um, uh, just recently, for the Techno Museum right here in Detroit, reached out to me about a little less than a year ago, where they were working on this uh cross collaboration with like Afro beat techno type of music that was also paired with like spoken word poetry and stuff. So it's working on stuff like that with them. To PL Official, who's a rapper that does the music for I think he does the music for like the Lions. I think he does like the music that they run out to and all that type of stuff. But he has this album that he just released a little more than a year ago, where he reached out to me to do the intro, which was about what if Mufasa never died, which was a very interesting concept. So it was exciting to write about that and just to put something out where people could feel. And then even beyond that, I have like tons of recordings and videos and stuff that I do of my spoken word with
So
and without.
if we're looking for you on YouTube, what will we
Yep.
look for? Just Squeeze or what?
Yep. You can just look up Squeeze. I don't know. Let me check and see what happens.
And
But
then
no,
would you, as they say, spit something right off the top of your head before we get to the end of the day?
yes, I can do that. Well, let me know after all of your questions or like right now.
I'm complete.
Um, so I don't know, just because we hearing the ideas uplifting with for the sisters with Black sisters, but the idea that as people as a whole, have been going through like a series of conditioning and that we're always finding our way back to ourselves. That's not just for us as Black people, but just human beings in general. I did want to do a poem that was called Now You Got Me Thinking About It. I could do Hourglass. I'll do Hourglass. The world in distress is the matter at hand. All of the time in our sands with our misguided demands. The lust of all desires turning planes into plans on how to conquer the man produced this blood on our hand. Maddening beyond sad, the world's ending in grief. Less fires than our desires, but barley burns from the heat. To know that our demise come from us who proceeds, to know that today's tomorrow for miraculous beings. Like, could you believe the stories after all you had seen? The beauty of such a planet, granite covered in green, oceans that told the motions of the love and the greed of the world that lost its life to a chilling disease. They say there was a day when the focus was accomplishing peace. Back when hate wasn't survival, but abundant and things conveniently covered their eyes with their desires and dreams, illusions within their life is what they're taught to receive. My father once said that his grand had a house and it had trees like a forest. But now with this, we exist, surviving perma explorers, reluctant in our existence, surviving scorn of our ways, torn by our days, descendants of the cell and the sage, now turning the page to a reality we face with today. The promise of great intention proceeding paving the way. Ego make way for evil, a planet savage and slave. A cloud built of the proud, the water poisoned with paint, stained with the pain with which the signs have been made. As they were made, they were displayed as they were stacked in the shade. From the sun, but not the rain, the water leaked on the blades, growing sharper with less direction because their roots have been changed, confused, but pushed to bloom, uncertain of what they became from where they had come, unaware of what they truly become. Their references filtered through tetrases of waste from the dump and perfected by their inceptions, by their hates and they wants, gathered with limitations that were not within. Rain toxic supply fumes were mixed with oxygen. Where we stayed, the darkest ominous, we fill out our way. Water, as it was known, found only deep under slate, much effort in our retrieval because the sun at day will cause your skin in moment to be embodied with flames. I remember all of the stories of the sun being praised. Sunrise was a sight beheld divine in those days. If I fell through a crack and landed back on those times, I would first bend my knees and thank that rock and divine. Next, I would go and tell of the place I came, try to protect with my projections of tomorrow. Today, the course would need correction, the curriculum's change, or the lessons would lead to tests, benchmark the master our fate, give up our power for the power of perception and deception, self-deceive as we perceive our lost desires as directions, tell everyone in all directions, find a map in terms of water, thank the heavens for the heavens, and live life a blissful motto.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hourglass.
Nice.
Y'all give it up. Give it up for
Yes.
Squeeze. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we got one more hand and then we got announcements after that. Star, if you want to go ahead.
Um, I don't know if you could see my phone, but is this
Yeah.
you?
Let's see.
NTP 313?
Nope, nope, nope. So if you're looking for, oh wow, the channel on YouTube, I can put the link here in the in
In the
the
chat.
chat.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But wait 1 second, I just want to see for myself. But if you go to, we have a channel, multiple channels there on the site. So let me just pull it up really quick. I'm sorry. But it would be, I believe it's Squeeze Me or something like that. And then we have Wave Culture TV. But I'm gonna pull the link right now and post it for y'all.
And if you have any trouble finding it, you can always send it to me and I'll make sure the group has it as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we lost your visual, Squeeze.
He's looking up something, I think, on the device.
Okay.
So if you look up a poem that's called, I feel like one that'd be easy to find. If you look up a poem called Obsession, by Squeeze, you should see it pop up there.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
I'll post it later.
Yep. Send it my way and I'll send it on over. I will send it on over. Awesome. All right. I've got announcements, but I'm gonna let Queen go first.
Mhm.
And thank you again. Yes, I don't know if you heard that, but my baby was excited. Thank you again for sharing your art and everything that you're doing. Queen, there's your back.
Oh, OBKB. Well, one thing is that um, I'm moving this stuff around here. 1 second. You.
Got my computer down here. Oh, actually, I think I didn't have
Okay,
one.
so the one is that I'm sharing here. Okay, so your girl, Moi, will be performing. How can I move this thing out the way?
No.
There we go. Okay, so I'm going to be doing Jazzy Arts Sundays with Queen Aduni every second and fourth Sunday at my on Iron Street from July to September from 2 to 5. I want to invite you all out. You bring your bring your art supplies and your tables. If that's what people want to do, they can do that. Some of the times, when Mama Evelyn is available, she will have her art out there and they can, donate, give her donations to use her supplies and such. We will be featuring soundtracks from Life on Earth, the group with my husband. We will have vendors want to come out. It's $25, set up your tent. That's when we're outside and bring chairs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm putting all this together. And then on the second, so I will perform my show, and then after that, we will have open mic for poetry for those who want to bring their tracks. There won't be any bands out there, but if you want to bring your track, you can perform during that time. So I definitely want to invite you for that and get you ready for that. And then sometimes I will even be asking some of the Elizabeths to speak on whatever your show is about during that time. So I'm super excited about that, doing that. Really, I really is. And let me see, I had another one. Um, yeah, there, thank you for getting out the way. And then I have, let me see, that's the Life on Earth. Life on Earth. The group we will be performing on the 7th of July. That will be at the shop, which is on the Quinda. Life on Earth is when we do everything raw. So we create the music at that particular time. So if you're not there and we didn't record it, you'll never hear it again. Ha 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 ha. The other thing is I did do some research about Burkina, and February it's going to be like 90 so I thought about May, and it'll be like 99 there. So it's going to be hot. And the other thing is that you do have to have your what is that card? Your passport
Passport.
six,
Passport.
6 months before you go. So that's why I'm putting all the things together. So I said, well, maybe February, we're already at almost at 7 months. So that's 6 months from now is December. So that's 6, 7, 8 months. So making sure everybody has enough time to get their passport. If you don't have it, moi, don't have my passport, or get it renewed. And the other thing is at the end of February, which is really what I would like us to do, they have their big festival
Oh,
at the end of February into the 1st of March. So they don't have the schedule up now, but that's the time that they normally do it. Last year, that was the schedule, the end of February into the 1st of March. So that time. So maybe we'll do it at that time. That way we will get to enjoy the festivities and such and do all the other things that we want to do. I'm super excited about this trip.
do you know the cost to get over there?
I
Fly?
haven't gotten to that point. I
Okay.
actually had to, I don't know if their airport will be ready by that time. The way they're moving, they have their own planes now.
I know.
And then they're building their own airport. So probably by that time it will be ready.
Okay, yeah, should
We
be.
could fly right into the city. Um, So that's what I'm working on, what the numbers are wherever we have to fly into, and the time and all that kind of stuff. So as soon as I get that, then I will let everybody know. Um, yeah, so that's what I have to share. And
Okay, and
please, I
Sharon.
want you to come out during the Jazzy Arts and give us some squeeze.
Ah,
Squeeze out some poetries or spoken word. And well, we know anybody else, and definitely Lolly would be part of that. So that's what I have. And as I get that information about, because I know we got if they have to have we have to have things like 6 months in advance, but you also want to know how much you need to
yeah.
put away, and when you can start paying on that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
and the next Thursday after the show, I will be doing my presentation. I will have I over the years I have a lot of people that are involved with my vision, and
Mm-hmm.
their visions are part of my vision.
Uh-huh.
And I will be sharing, and I will have a lot of those people that already know, and I've already been talking to them over the years. They will also be there to hear where we are right now. So
Okay.
please plan to be at the meeting after the Thursday show.
Okay.
Okay, Lolly.
Um, all right, I'll make this real quick and then we can head on out. If you need something to do tonight, there is the Juneteenth Liberation link up. There are still tickets available. This is a kind of, wouldn't quite say upscale, but it's a little bit more, a little bit more bourgeoisie. If you're a business, this is going to be a great networking event to go to. There's a few businesses that will be there that are competing for a grant. And so it's a really cool event. So I'd love to see y'all there. I'll be working the door, and unfortunately, no, I cannot let you in for free. Thank you. All right. The other thing that I want to share is tomorrow, I will be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing at Robert C. Villette Park, which is like right downtown.
Oh,
Um, it'll be fun family events and everything. I sing that at about 10:30 a.m., so bright and early, but you have the full day to do things such as chess, such as volleyball, such as buying food, eating food, running around, bring the grandkids, the kids, the cousins, all of those things. And last but not least, something to keep in mind. I have an EP, a small project, a 3-song EP that I'll be coming out with. The goal is to release it in August, but I wanted to record a video for it in July. And with that being said, I'm doing a fundraiser at Unorthodox Business Club. It's called a Low Key Kickback fundraiser. Low Key Kickback is the name of the EP. And the tickets are $15 on lollymariah.com/shows. So if you want to support me making that happen, or listen to me sing, because this is my exchange, I'll perform for a couple dollars, you feel me? I would love to see you there. I'm gonna my goal is to bring some cards and some games and stuff too, so people can be enjoying the time in many ways. So please join me if you can. That is on July 5th. And I'll be sharing more over the next few days. And with that being said, we are.
One more thing.
Oh,
Adasi in the morning.
what'd you say?
Adasi in the morning.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. The Dasi is in the morning. That's 7 a.m. on Belial. I got to figure out how I can get there and to the show. I'm gonna figure.
Yeah, because I can come, I'll come right there from there to your show. So that's
Yeah,
gonna be cool.
that's what I want. I would like to do as well. I'm gonna figure this out myself. Okay, y'all. Well, it was great spending time with you. Go ahead and give yourself a hug because you deserve love. Okay, hug yourself, hug yourself. Yes. And then with that extra love you have, go ahead and hug the world because the world needs it. Okay, the world needs it. I tell you. Sprinkle all the goodness and poetry and love and good energy and support and everything all over because we could use that little sprinkle. Okay. With that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see y'all next week.
All right. Peace out. Passion and purpose is complete for the week for this day, for this moment. Peace out.